Okay, so one of the first things I needed to do was to make some detailed diagrams of the positions of everything relative to the walls of the vehicle, the side panniers, cross tunnel, the height of the cross the tunnel relative to the height of the panniers. So I've got all those measurements there, and also the toe board. To design my own toe board, I had to sort of go through, measure this one, work out how it all fits, and then of course looking on the internet as well at different images to work out how to do these bottom sections. That was the hardest bit to sort of get in my mind. You can sort of see over here, let me just get the light. Okay, so if we take a closer look, the way the subframe connects to it, there are two bolts on the bottom of the subframe. One of them here is here, and then there's another one that sort of comes through here. On that side, you can sort of see the bracket where it goes. You can see two bolt holes, one in the toe board, one down the bottom, and the other hole to the left is just a drainage hole. So that sort of structure is what I needed to create. The way I'm going to replace the toe board in this, I could undo all the spot welds and replace the entire board. The replacement panel for that is about $500 plus postage. It may be cheaper to source it from the UK, but then it takes a few weeks to come. And this is the main sort of thing that's holding up the project. So what I intend to do is cut out the lower section and then just make a panel to fit into that lower section. So you can actually purchase the kit to replace just the lower section, but unfortunately all the suppliers do not have any stock, including the ones from the UK. So I've decided to just construct my own and then see how it goes. So let's have a look at my progress. Okay, so let's have a look at this. This is the replacement floor panel. This is probably one of the most expensive parts, and you're looking at over $1,000. And the reason why it costs so much, there's no way I'd be able to fabricate this on my own. One of the issues is the tunnel in mine, Moke, needed to be replaced. You can't just buy the tunnel on its own, but then even if you did buy the tunnel on its own, you still need the edge pieces, and then you still then would need to weld up on each side of the tunnel. So that's more work involved. So this was the best option, just to get the complete floor. Okay, so I'll just sort of show you some of the other panels I have purchased. I've got a pair of these. So what these are the side panels. The actual inside edge pieces, like the inside of the panniers of the actual Moke. The bottom edges are one of the common parts that rust out, and that's the same on this one. So what you can purchase is this replacement panel, and it kind of sits at an angle like that, and then of course you can either plug weld or butt weld to the main vertical piece of the side panel. I'm most likely going to be butt welding it because it'll turn out better. It'll take a lot more effort. So I've got one of them for each side. The other piece as well is for the seat, and I've got this the opposite way around, but that doesn't matter. That's the vertical panel which goes onto the main cross member for the seat. So that's also going to be replaced. The top of the actual seat panel is okay. All right, the other thing that I'm working on at the moment is I've got some sheet metal, and what I need to do is construct a toe board. The reason why I've decided to build my own, it's because at the moment a lot of the suppliers who sell, you can purchase the entire toe board, but not just the bottom section that I need. So one other thing I wanted to point out as well, the reason why a lot of the floors have issues with rust, and you'll notice that you have this sort of feature here. In the Moke forums, they refer to this as the Bermuda Triangle. So it's like where the angle of this sidewall and then the angle of the floor, it forms a triangle, which is like an empty cavity. So that's one sort of place that moisture can get trapped. on an original floor, there are sort of drain holes in these sort of spots there to allow for the movement of water and air, but these replacement panels don't seem to have that, so I need to work out what the best option for that will be. Okay, so what we've got here, we're working on the toe board, and I've got the sort of the basic shape right, the height is right, that's where the fold will be to fold it up for the subframe bolt. What I need to work out is the hole for the tunnel, get the basic shape of that, transferred to the piece of steel, and then cut it, then start working out how I'm going to do the edge for it to be folded and supported underneath the actual curve of the tunnel. So I've got a bit of cardboard here to get the shape of the curve. I'll transfer that to the piece of steel. Rest with the toe board. I don't have the equipment to put a nice curve bend in there. I'm going to add welds into these once I've got the actual curve of that correct. I just need to finish folding up these two parts, that bit there, and then work out how to do this edge here. That just goes at about 90 degrees. So I'll just put it onto the subframe, and then you can sort of get an idea of how that is going to sit in. So the angles aren't correct yet, but yeah. So that fits onto there. Or the main part is actually getting it onto the body or onto the floor. So that's where I'm sort of fiddling around. There's room for error, so that can go up or down, and then of course I just need to adjust the curve to fit underneath the tunnel. But I'm making progress. So the next step, what I need to do now is start removing this existing toe board or the lower section, get that all cut out, then I can sort of start to work out exactly how the replacement panel, making sure all the angles, everything is right, and then I can sort of weld up these gaps to make it a bit stronger. So that's the lower section of the toe board cut out. You can see it down there. This line that I've cut on, I've cut on the actual edge of the bracket for the steering rack, so that way I didn't have to undo the spot welds for the steering rack. The other thing I've done there, I've marked a black line, so this is where approximately that part here is part of this wall, so it curves like that. So I've marked along here with a black line the approximate height of those two replacement strip that go on each side. So I'm going to cut out all this section here of rust. I just can't go anywhere near that line because that will get cut to the correct height when everything's settled in. But I can remove here and then sort of just cut along here. I'm going to leave that there for now because I want that as a data point. But that section can go, then I can sort of work out the corner section here of the toe board, and then the same again on the other side. Alright, so mainly just so I've got a record of this, let's point out the parts here. So this section here, which I'm pointing to the screwdriver, that bit of metal there is actually part of the original floor. So the floor goes across and then up. There's a vertical panel. That's the back of the triangle. And then obviously this part here makes the front of the triangle. And there is a bar here, an angle iron bar, that runs all the way, it attaches to the corner of the floor panel and runs all the way, starts here, obviously goes towards the outside of the car and then all the way back to, and that holds in the floor panel for the pannier boxes on the side. This point from here to here, and possibly all the way to the end, there's another piece of, looks like 20mm angle iron from that corner where this angle iron is, and then it runs all the way to this point over here. So I just wanted to document that before I cut it all away. So back in this corner here, so this part here that I'm pointing to now is actually, it's that same panel here. There's also another panel on the other side, which is this part here. So that is not part of the floor. And if you remember when I just showed you the replacement floor, the angle part that goes up sort of stops about here, and then there's sort of nothing in that front section. So there's another panel which is on the opposite side here. It sort of must fit in there, but I'll just sort of make a patch for that. So this part here is obviously the edge of this main wall panel. On the back of that, just around this side here, you can sort of feel the edge of the toe board where it wraps around and then spot welds onto the outside. So I need to go onto the outside, undo the spot welds that are sort of here, just to get this outside piece of the toe board removed. Then we can sort of see how the panel will fit as a replacement. Okay, so we are on the outside of the car on the other side of that panel, and let me just point out, so this section here is obviously, that's the toe board here, that's the external part that folds around, and there's spot welds on there. I've got to remove those. This panel here is a separate panel, so I will need to sort of chop across here. What else is here? There's a bit of an angle iron in that corner there, and then that's the angle line I was talking about before, so they'll get changed over too. I've got a whole strip of that. Okay, just a quick look at some more progress, what we've done. I've created these reinforcement panels, so they go on to each side. I've started to mark where the subframe bolts come on there. The only thing that doesn't align, the holes don't exactly line up, but that being the case, you could still get a spanner in there, ring spanner, to hold the bolt while it gets tightened up. So that's not a major issue, I don't think. The other factor too, the other bolt hole for the bolt, which will be visible from the inside, that hole doesn't exactly line up dead straight either, so it's sort of slightly off, but it could just be because I haven't got the floor properly installed. It is a bit curved at that end, but this end should keep its shape. But that's what the issue is. So what I'm actually working on at the moment is building the other half of this bracket, which will come down and then attach to the floor. So I'll need to sort of fabricate that and work out how it's going to go. That piece there, that will sort of probably stay there. I can trim that off possibly. And then this side, it's going to need like a cover to go over there, and then again for the other side. So I'll work it out. I'll probably just do it with cardboard first and then see how I go. Okay, so just to show you the progress so far, I've made these end pieces now, so that sort of fits in there nicely, and then that gets tacked down to the floor. That end here, that'll get folded over once they're fitted. And then of course that will be filled with a weld to finish it off there. And this is the other side here. So again, the same sort of process, a little bit of fiddling around to get it right. Even that front lip might be a bit too big, but I can grind that off once we're fitted. So that's how it looks. I'll just sort of bring you down a bit. Of course, these won't be fitted until the floor's fitted, and then, because it is a cover piece, and then put that on last, because there's no point welding it to it now. Even these joints in here, they will have weld over there just to make them a bit stronger, but of course I don't know the exact angle. How I've got it clipped on here, that's close to how I think it goes, but it's all down to how the rest of the floor fits in there. I think I showed you already there, underneath there, that's the extra support bracket. So once all that's together, obviously I can drill a hole for where the actual subframe bolt goes, and then I'll do a secondary hole for the drainage, but that can be done later, not right now. Okay, so I've just test fitted all the parts here for the toe board, just so you can sort of see how it all fits in. So floor will rest on there, cover up over to there. The other part, that's this part here sits on top of the floor, so that I haven't got a ruler with me right now, but that's very close to that height. These parts in here I'll sort of fix up once I figure out how all that's going to go, because there's another panel that goes on that side. Over here, the same story too. That part just folds up and goes against on the inside under there, but that can be done afterwards. I'm not going to weld any of this together yet until we fit the floor in and then just see how everything fits together. That tab will just sort of bend up once it all gets installed. Well, that's saved me a bit of money, but it has been pretty difficult to get this constructed. And then of course we'll have to wait and see, wait and see if it actually works out well. We won't know until we start putting the floor in the car. The next job will be to tackle this heel board, because it will need a angle iron put onto the bottom, because you can see on this side here it's a bit rusted, and then remove that center tunnel. So that'll be the next job. Hopefully you found this video a bit of use on how to construct a toe board for a Moke. I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.